Reported today in The Verge. Apple's new health features bring new focus to elder care technology. Apple's new health features will be available for anyone with an iPhone. But two of the tools announced at WWDC 2021, walking steadiness and the ability to share health data with family members, could be particularly useful for older adults. People who work with older adults are excited that a company like Apple is interested in tech that could be used for this group. Experts have spent years frustrated that companies don't design products to meet the needs of that demographic. There have been a few attempts to introduce new tools, but none got much traction, says Richard Schulz, a social psychologist studying aging at the University of Pittsburgh. I think the reason is that the big boys, companies like Apple, never got into it, Schulz says. The new features are a signal that the tide is starting to turn. Apple getting into this is a big deal. The first feature, the walking steadiness indicator, targets a major issue for older adults, falling. Falls are the leading cause of accidents, injury, and death for seniors in the US, and they're responsible for billions in healthcare costs each year. Researchers have been studying falls, and trying to figure out ways to prevent them, for decades, says Jacob Sosnoff, who studies mobility in the Department of Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation Science at the University of Kansas Medical Center. We can do a really good job in the lab measuring walking impairment and making predictions and recommendations, but we're not very good in the real world, Sosnoff says. Apple's new walking steadiness feature aims to track people as they move through their daily lives. It uses metrics like walking speed, step length, and the time both feet are in contact with the ground to monitor how stable a user is. It can only be measured on the iPhone, not an Apple Watch, because some of the metrics have to be calculated from as close to the hip as possible, Apple says, so in a pocket or a bag works best. Apple Watch already has a fall detection feature that can prompt users to call emergency services or automatically make a call if the user is immobile for around a minute. The new iPhone capability focuses on prediction, rather than response. It can tell people if they're walking steadily and issue an alert if it thinks they're at an increased risk of falling. Apple says the system is based on data collected during a clinical study that included over 100,000 participants of all ages. There are no major commercial products that track the quality of people's movement, Sosnoff says. Until now, most movement trackers have focused on how much people moved. That's why there's a lot of excitement about this, he says. Having people be aware of their fall risk is important. But there's also a downside to telling people. For more on this story, visit the news article link.